For 6 centuries, there was an empire that fought non-stop and destroyed whatever stood in its way. It fought kings, it fought sultans, it fought republics, crusaders, rebels. As European powers grew stronger, it fought them too. It gained land, lost land, shed blood, went through crises, thought strategically, recovered again. It marched its armies from the Balkans to the deserts of Arabia. And through all of this, it accomplished something no one else in history managed to do. It didn't go bankrupt. Because the Ottomans didn't just fight. They found a way to finance war. And they kept it going for centuries. Welcome to Financial Historian, where money, power, and history mix together, and nothing is as simple as it looks. The Ottoman Empire lived from 1299 to 1922. It outlasts Rome, surpasses Britain, and outlives most modern states we know today. But longevity alone isn't the real point. The real question we should ask is this: how did an empire that fought this much never collapse because it ran out of money? Because most people think empires fall when they lose wars. But states don't collapse because of war. They collapse because of budgets, because of bad decisions, because of logistics. The Ottomans understood this from the very beginning, and instead of using the classic European model of collect taxes, pay salaries, fund the army, they built a much smarter system. War would finance itself. But before we get there, let's establish some background. Because when people think of the Ottoman Empire, they imagine turbans, domes, janissaries, but the giant mechanism behind those images is mostly unknown. Let's pause and go back to the beginning. From a small beylik to a giant empire. When the Ottomans were first founded, they were just a small tribal principality. Osman Bey advanced with a few thousand horsemen, good timing, and good opportunities. Byzantium was weakening, the Mongols were pulling back. The environment was perfect for them. Each conquest brought not only land but income, fields, villages, taxes, people. So from the very beginning, war in the Ottoman world wasn't an expense. It was a source of revenue. In 1326, Bursa was taken. In the 1350s, they crossed into Europe. They were no longer a small clan. They were beginning to control the routes between Europe and Asia. Do you know what that meant in the Middle Ages? It meant you held the world's main artery. From Venice to Iran, from Cairo to Budapest, everyone passed through the Ottomans' doorway. And every passage brought money. This matters because war requires 3 things: food, silk, metal, and manpower. The Ottomans may not have had huge stockpiles of these, but they had something else: steady cash flow. Where there is trade, there is money. But the secret wasn't just money. The key word, the Timar system. Now, let's get to the big thing. A state's biggest expense is what? Soldier salaries. The Ottomans said, let's not pay money. Let's give rights. In the system we call Timar, a cavalryman, Sipahi, was given the right to collect taxes from a village. In return, that Sipahi bought his own armor, fed his horse, and stayed battle-ready. He didn't receive a salary from the state. He financed himself. So, the state's expenses dropped dramatically. The Sipahi was motivated to protect his village. A good village means good taxes. The peasants had a stable system, and when the state went to war, it didn't have to empty the treasury. While European kings were spending fortunes on mercenaries, the Ottoman army was largely self-sustaining. Janissaries, a system that looks expensive but isn't. Now let's talk about the Janissaries. Everyone knows the name, but not the economic side of it. Janissaries were raised through the Devshirme system. Christian boys taken from the Balkans, trained, educated, and turned into a loyal military class. From today's perspective, the system has harsh aspects. We shouldn't romanticize it. But financially, here's the truth. The state acquired soldiers who were ready and trained. The cost of ages 0 to 15, not on the state, on the local communities. Janissaries did receive salaries, but for a long time they were forbidden to marry, start families, or run businesses, to keep them tied entirely to the state. So while the Timar system made cavalry cheap, the Janissaries created a professional, yet still relatively low-cost, infantry corps. If war brings profit, more war funds itself. As the Ottomans conquered, new Timars were created. New taxes came in, New trade routes came under control. Some states returned from war broke. The Ottomans often returned richer. State monopolies like salt and tobacco brought steady income, just like today's national oil companies. Other states paid tribute. And most importantly, the Ottomans lived for centuries without borrowing money. This is extremely rare in history. But when the world changed, the system stalled. By the 1600s, things started shifting. Europe industrialized. Trade moved to the seas. The Ottoman land routes lost importance. The Timur system began to collapse. Janissaries gained political power. A modern army required actual salaries. The state needed cash, but income was no longer what it once was. By the 1800s, the Ottomans started borrowing from Europe. Interest piled up, debt grew. And in 1881, the Ottoman finance system was taken over by European creditors. An empire that had controlled its own financial destiny for centuries became a prisoner of debt. And today, are the same things happening? Actually, yes, just with modern names. Timur system, government contracts, private defense companies. Trade routes, Hormuz, the South China Sea. State monopolies, oil companies. Conquest-based finance, energy, and mining geopolitics. Ottoman debt crisis, modern national debt crises. Financial systems don't really change. Only eras change. And the lesson from this story is, empires don't collapse on the battlefield. They collapse in the economy. The Ottomans lived for 6 centuries because their system was smart and cheap. When the system collapsed, the empire collapsed. History doesn't repeat itself word for word. But if you don't understand it, one day it will catch you.